my name is Ivana and I currently live in India. Just recently, with all of the negative stories popping up in the media and also here on YouTube about India being an unsafe country for women to travel alone, I feel that I need to chip in a positive way. I would never disrespect those women by saying that their stories are not valid or that they maybe didn't take enough precautions. They are the only ones who were there in that situation. And I just feel really sad that it happened. 99% of my experiences in India have been very positive, but at the same time, these things could happen too. India is definitely not a risk-free country to travel as a solo female traveler, but I do believe it's definitely worth it. It's been a life-changing experience for me. I've seen things that I've never seen anywhere else in the world. The kindness of the people, the generosity, the hospitality, the food, the landscapes. It's all worth it for me if you take the right precautions and don't take any unnecessary risk. Obviously, things can definitely go wrong, as the stories of these women prove, but in order to prevent that as much as possible, if you do want to come to India, here are my 10 recommendations on how to stay safe while traveling as a solo female in India. Before we get into this video, please make sure to subscribe to my channel because I have a lot of vlogs in India already. If you want to see them, they're down in the playlists in the description below, but there's also more travel in India coming up. So if you subscribe, you can travel along. So let's start out with tip number 1. In general, my main rule is that I do not like to arrive in a new country or a new place in the evening, the middle of the night, or early morning. If you're arriving late or early in the morning, you might be really tired and not be able to make the best decisions for yourself. Public transportation will probably not be working. Also, there will be a lot less people in the street who can help you out if you need anything. Taxis might even not be working. Overall, it's just a bad idea to arrive this late. So to prevent that, please, if you're coming to India, make sure you arrive somewhere between 10 a.m. in the morning and 6 p.m. the latest. That will give you the easiest arrival. Now, something else that is absolutely non-negotiable. You need this if you are traveling in India. Get a SIM card. They are not expensive. Most of them will cost you 350 rupees. You can get them at the biggest airports upon arrival. So Mumbai airport for sure has it. Delhi, Bangalore. If they are more expensive, just recently I had to buy a new one here at Bangalore airport. It was 1,000 rupees, which is about 10-12 euros, something like that. Still get it. Honestly, it is non-negotiable to travel around India without having a SIM card. Especially if you're traveling solo, you need to let people know where you are. If that's back at home, or maybe if you've made some local friends, you need to be able to, call the police if anything happens. Just get that SIM card. Don't even think about it. Just get it. The third tip I would give you is about transportation. The most important apps here in India are Ola and Uber. Uber is super easy because you can connect your international credit card to that. Ola, I am less and less a fan of them because the drivers are less professional than the Uber drivers. So in case you're able to use Uber, please do that. Probably upon arrival, you won't be able to use your SIM card immediately because it takes time for them to activate. So don't be shy to use the prepaid taxis at the airports. They are really good actually. If you are very afraid of arranging your transportation upon arrival, you can also ask your hotel or your homestay to arrange your transportation. They can send a taxi for you. But to be honest, this is a lot more expensive, and in my experience it's a lot more hassle because how are you going to call the driver when you arrive? Like, the prepaid taxis are a better option. Do not walk in and book your accommodation that way. I know there are a lot of myths that might be cheaper, but especially if you're a solo traveler, a solo female traveler, your safety is the most important thing that should matter to you. So me personally, I always book my accommodation before arrival, and I only use 2 apps. One is booking.com and one is WeGo. They both have really great prices compared to the prices that I've sometimes asked upon arrival. They might be a little bit more expensive, but like I said, your safety is the most important thing. And this is why these apps matter, because they have reviews, and not just reviews from couples or family travelers, but also from solo female travelers. If you go to a place and just walk in to a hotel, maybe you ask around, maybe you ask your rickshaw driver, the place might look nice, but it might not be safe for a solo female traveler. That's why I never just walk into my accommodation. I always have my accommodation pre-booked at a place where I know solo female travelers have stayed and they've had good experiences over there. Please do not ever compromise your safety to save a couple of dollars. Pay extra if that's what it takes for you to stay safe, because if you want to save money now and then, you know, gain a traumatic experience for life, seriously, your budget shouldn't be an issue when it comes down to your safety. I personally drink only 5 times a year, and I only drink with people who make me feel safe. So this is a very personal mommy tip. Do not drink or use drugs with strangers. No matter how nice the people may seem who you just met, do not drink with them, and do not like smoke weed with them or whatever, because you don't know them. I've only had alcohol with my friends in India after I've known them for like over a year or something. And that's not just in India, that's anywhere I go. Do not drink or use drugs with people who you just met. They might seem like super nice in the moment, but you don't know them. It's just really an unsafe situation to be in if you have no control over your body and you're with people who you have just met. Don't do that, no matter how tempting it might be. Tip number 6, adjust to the local culture. If that means covering up your shoulders and your ankles, please do that. In India, it is super comfortable, actually more comfortable than Western clothes, to wear kurta pajamas. They are also not very expensive to buy, so just look at the local women around you and adjust to that. This also means that if you're looking around you in the evening and there are no local women in the streets, you probably also shouldn't be out. And if I can give you another recommendation, in India, this is the way to hug guys. Sideways, like this. And if you hug from the front, keep your boobs away from their chests. That's just like something that I learned. In the West, it's quite common like to give a guy like a normal hug where like all of your bodies are touching, and that's not an issue at all. In India, it makes a lot of men feel very uncomfortable because it's not common. Keep in mind that adjusting to the local culture will make your life a lot easier. Tip number 7, yeah, there we go. If you're traveling on trains, again, your safety should never be compromised by budget restrictions. I have heard of women traveling in the sleeper trains, traveling successfully in sleeper trains, sleeper class actually. I only travel in sleeper class if it's like a short ride during the day, like 4 or 5 hours during the day. That's perfectly fine, and people really appreciate it. It's actually a really fun way to travel, but I would never do that overnight. One, because you get too many stairs, even I, who like sometimes can pass for an Indian, and 2, because I feel like 3 AC is the minimum that a solo female traveler in India should travel. Yes, it definitely costs a little bit more, but if you take the upper berth, you will have so much more privacy, and my sleep is also more valuable than those couple of dollars that you save, you know, traveling in sleeper class. For me, it's just not worth it. So I'd say if you're booking a train in India as a solo female traveler, book 3 AC or anything above that. Take a self-defense class before you go. I did kickboxing for 8 months before I left on my travels around the world because I was absolutely terrified and still up to date. One of my biggest fears next to snake is getting raped. It's just a fact of life that there are some crazy men out there who feel that raping a woman is the way to go. The only thing that I can do to protect myself is learn how to defend myself, and that's exactly what I did. Now, I am definitely not the best kickboxer in the world, but I can throw a mean punch if that's necessary. And luckily until now that wasn't necessary, but it definitely gives me, tip number 9, more confidence when I'm roaming the streets alone. Even in Old Delhi, in Chandni Chowk, where there are so many men, honestly there are a lot more men than women. it makes me feel confident that I do know how to defend myself, that I do know how to stand up for myself, and that confidence already gives people a different perception on you. If you're walking down the streets you know, scared, and people can easily see that you're scared and uncomfortable, it makes you such a more easy target. So please, if you don't take the self-defense class, realize that your confidence and your posture while you're walking any street is very important in how other people perceive you, and if they will pick you as a target or not, you know, to maybe con you or anything like that. My last recommendation, tip number 10. If at any moment, in any situation, you start getting a feeling there's something not right here, I shouldn't be here, get the hell out. If there is something next to the SIM card that I would say is non-negotiable, this would be it. Whenever my spidey sense or my sixth sense starts acting up, even if the street is completely empty or even if the street is completely full, I do not wait around to see why I am feeling uncomfortable. I don't care if I'm rude. I don't care if people think I'm weird. I would just get the hell out of that situation, because honestly, you don't want to find out if there is a, you know, axe killer coming around the corner and, you know, trying to get you. You don't want to be in that situation. I have been in a situation where this was actually in South Korea, not even in India, where I felt extremely uncomfortable in a dorm room where there was a woman and she was being so weird. She made me so uncomfortable where I felt that she might legit murder me in my sleep. That's the kind of vibe that I was getting from her. And I didn't stick around to find out if she was a nice person. I was just like, you know what? You and me are done. I'm getting the hell out of this hostel. And that's exactly what you should do too. If there is a person who is making you feel uncomfortable, if there's a place that's making you feel uncomfortable, just get the hell out. Don't stick around thinking that, oh, this might be weird, or this is so rude, or these people are so nice to me, blah blah blah. I don't care, because your safety should always be your priority number one when you are traveling solo. I do have a couple of other topics that I would like to talk about, because this also came up in the negative experiences that I've read. A woman was ranting on Reddit about her being scammed so many times. Legit, I have maybe been scammed a couple of times in India, but not more than 100 rupees, which is like a little bit more than $1. But the big scams that people always talk about, I've never experienced that, and I think I know why. So if you guys would like me to make a separate video about that, let me know down in the comments below. India is such a beautiful country, and I feel so sad when it gets portrayed as an unsafe country for women. Yes, it definitely has its risks. It's not a risk-free country, but at the same time, I definitely feel it's not doable as a solo female traveler. Actually, it's very doable. 99% of my experiences over here have been mind-blowing. India is an experience. Yes, those stories are absolutely valid, but I am saying that there's so much more positivity to discover here that will never be covered in the media, simply because it's not newsworthy. But that's a topic for another day. I hope this video was useful. If it was, put a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and then I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.